I was overwhelmed, actually.
I was keen to do the DNA journey.
My reaction was first that I was a bit disappointed.
Is a lot of that not just a bit of a gimmick? Meet Hugo Burge, the CEO who persuaded his top management team to take DNA tests. Why? Let's let him explain.
Anything that makes you question your decisions and your perspective is good. We are all subject to or prone to prejudging people. In fact, we can prejudge ourselves, but if you come to terms with the fact that you are not who you thought you were, it definitely changes your perspective about prejudice when meeting other people.
So what were the results, and how did they take it?
I was really excited to see that I actually have a profile that's more British than my British CEO. And I had 70% coming from Scandinavia, 22% from Great Britain. I actually have a tiny part of me coming from South Asia.
I think of myself as British. I think I sound quite British. I feel British. I'm patriotic British. However, I was confronted by the reality that actually I'm only 5% British DNA. So it was amazing, really.
My assumption was always that I was half English and half Scottish. I was actually Scandinavian in part, and I was actually Irish in part.
I had no idea that I was actually, if you like, a global citizen, coming from lots of different areas in the world. I thought I was just British and Irish, which was good enough for me.
These stories of self-discovery are all nice to hear, but looking again at the data, another question occurs to me. So the DNA results from the top management team that you tested, it was over 98% white European DNA. Does this exercise make you think about the hiring process?
I think it does. I think that is a wake-up call. We're keen to walk the talk. One thing I would say is that I know that's not representative of the broader team, but it is a good point, and I take that on the chin.
Deemed a success, the broader team is now being offered DNA tests. The free tests are not compulsory, though of course everyone can feel a bit under pressure to please the boss.
I have not heard anybody say they didn't want to take the test. I think everybody found it really interesting, and I actually heard the other question that how can I get a test for my family?
But the results turned out to be sensitive for some employees, like Martin Rovsing, born and bred in Denmark, who found his out on a plane journey.
I'm Danish, or at least I thought I was Danish, because apparently I'm not Danish at all. I actually had 0% Scandinavian in my results. So that was a bit of a surprise, and tough to be on an airplane, because the first thing I wanted to do was to call my mom and ask what's that all about.
His parents went on to take their own DNA tests, and together they learned about a family history outside of Denmark. Although the company has invested a lot of money rolling this out to staff, you have to wonder if it is partly an exercise in business branding. They haven't been shy to promote the idea of DNA testing in online videos they've made.
This journey has been sensational at finding out more about ourselves. It adds to our colour around our sense of identity. It gives us permission to think differently. It allows us to understand perhaps that there are commonalities with people who on the face of it seem very different.
All this stuff about being touchy-feely and getting in touch with your roots, is a lot of that not just kind of a bit of a gimmick?
I would counter that strongly, actually, and say that a higher purpose for a business is incredibly important. I want to know that I'm getting out of bed in the morning and making a difference. It's very worrying times, divisive times, populist protagonists, manipulating people and using half-truths. I think there has not been in living memory a more important time for a message of bringing people together and challenging prejudices.